Alright, on to game number 1 against green-purple Luffy. So we start off with a 2-cost Rosinante. I will say that this is a tough matchup, and the name of the game is beat them with aggression before they can beat us. So here on turn 2, we're just going to play out this Mihawk to play out the Weevil. That way then we can still swing 6k. We'll also bounce the Mihawk back to restand the Weevil so they can't swing into it. Here they do play the 1-drop Nami, and they get a Gum Gum Jet Gatling. And then they play out the Zoro Juro and find a Sanji. Here they're going to swing 5. We are going to counter out. I'm just thinking about which card I want to give out, so I do give out the Mihawk. And then on this turn, we're at 6 Dawn. We do draw the Vivi, but it requires us to have 5 cards in hand. It is one of our key cards in most matchups, being able to allow us to aggressively discard for counter and then refill our hand using the Vivi, because we can effectively play 1 copy of Vivi 2 times in 1 turn for 7 mana. So there we do play out the Smoker, and then we just swing with the Weevil, swing with Leader. Here they play out the 7-cost Luffy Taro, play out the Sanji Pudding off of its effect, use Leader effect, they get back a Dawn. So now they're going to be a 6k Leader until their next turn. They go 6 into our Weevil, and we're just going to counter out of this. We're going to most likely use we use the Mihawk, and then they do another 6. We debated about giving up the Vivi or one of our 2Ks, but instead we're just going to give up a Rosinante here. We do draw into a Hody Jones, which is going to be very integral if they do decide to throw on more blockers than just this singular one. And we are at 8 Dawn, so I'm just going to play another Smoker, restand a Dawn, and then play out this... first I'm going to swing with the Weevil. That way then I get a card out of hand, swing with the Smoker, get a 2k out of hand, then I'm going to play the Vivi, draw 2, swing with Leader for 6k, be able to bounce the Vivi, restand the Smoker, and then swing for 7 again. And they give me another 2k. So in that one turn, we got them down to just 3 cards, 4 cards now since they've drawn a card. So they're definitely going to start focusing on our board. So we're just going to give up the Vivi as counter right there. Here they go 6 into our Weevil. And I'm just thinking, do I want to protect this Weevil or not? I do decide to give a 2k for it. They do play out a second Sanji and Pudding, so now their Leader effect is free. And they're going to go 9 into 7 on our Smoker. And I'm just thinking, so there's 2 different plays here. I could block with the Rosinante, or I could just counter out. If I block with the Rosinante, then they attach the rest of their Dawn to their Luffy Taro and swing into it. And it would take 3 cards. This way it only takes 2. Here they're still just thinking about what they want to do. They did play that 1 cost, and they're going to swing 10 into our Smoker, so this time we're going to give up the Rosinante. We draw into a Kid, but that doesn't really matter. We're close to being near the end of the game, especially because we can play this Izo, tap down their blocker. And then here I'm going to swing 7 first. They do give us a 2k. So now I am going to swing 8 with Lead, use effect, bounce the Izo back to hand to restand our Smoker. And this is going to be game because we're just going to go 8. They do counter out of that one. That's fine. So then we go another 8. They would have to have a 2k, 1k. And then we go... Alright, game number 2 is against Marco. Marco is one of my favorite decks. I do think that Marco is going to be a top contender, especially coming to OP11 as being one of the blue decks that can actually handle blue-purple Luffy to a certain extent. No deck can really handle it, that's why it's a tier 0 deck, but there's certain decks that can either out-aggro it in time or be able to control it enough to be able to have a chance of winning. So, here, we just played out our Mihawk to play out our Weevil, getting 2 bodies on the field. That way then we guarantee that we're going to have a attacker next turn. Our hand isn't looking terrible. And here they are going to be swinging, but they're first just going to be doing a lot of minus to the Weevil. They did play that Monet, that way then they could still use the leader effect and all that, while still getting another body on the field. So here they do get rid of our Mihawk, they make our Weevil into a 5k, so we just 1k out with one of the VVs. Then they go 7. We're going to aggressively counter out of that one. We're down to 2 cards in hand, but that's completely fine here because we can attach 1 to the Weevil. We're gonna swing into their 3k character, get rid of that. We're gonna play out the VV, draw 2, swing with leader into the Monet, bounce the VV, restand the Weevil. That way then, even if they counter out of this one, we're just gonna swing 7k into it again. That way then we don't have to worry about the Monet either. They're giving a real hard think. The cards that we drew is real good too. We're running a lot of swords because we're running the 3-cost Mihawk, and because our leader effect allows us to be able to bounce the Mihawk, meaning we have a lot more utility with it in chances of being able to reuse a singular copy multiple times. And Vivi, funny enough, is a sword character herself, so she can be played off of the Mihawk as well. So here they start with the leader effect. They're at 5 Dawn. They do play out the Ivankov to be able to play off the top of their deck a blocker. Then they play out the Monet. They do use Monet. And then they're swinging 8 into 3. I debated for a second about countering out of this, because we do still have the VV. So there is a chance that I could just do that. They do have 6 cards in hand. So I'm giving it a real hard think because this is all 3 2Ks in my hand, just to save 1 card. But I decided to let it go. So here we're at 7 Dawn. So we're gonna start just with a leader swing first, see what they do. So they do just give up the Monet. So then we're just going to play out 2 Mihawks and then also get our other 4-drop down. And we're just trying to keep a character on the board at this point, so that way then we can swing multiple times. Here they use leader effect. They do -2 on the rested character of ours. They do play out the 7-drop Newgate. They tap it, popping the 5k Weevil, or Mihawk, and then they swing 5 into our Gion. We give her up, then they swing 6 at face. Here we're still at 4 life, so I'm just gonna take that one. So we do top deck into another Vivi. So we're at 9 Dawn. There's a couple different things that I could do here. We did still get to keep a character. So here I'm thinking, so I could still go VV, draw 2, see what I get out of the top. So here I'm just going to swing 6 into 4, see if I can get some counter, because that Ivankov is kind of their main card draw for Marco. They do give me counter for it, so now I'm gonna play out this VV. We draw into a Hody Jones and another Mihawk. I'm gonna go 6k, restand my Mihawk, bounce the VV back to hand. They do give that up, so I'm just rereading VV, making sure that it's 5 instead of 6. So here I'm just going to swing 7. And then I'm going to play out this Rosinante. I will say the good thing about the Zoro and Sanji is the fact that you do get access to the really good green cards, while also getting access to like the good blue card draw cards. And then if you want, you can run a more control heavy version with like the Raging Tigers and the Red Rocks, but I thought it would be better to just do a aggressive variant for these deck lists rather than just a control variant, because I think that the control would be a little bit worse. So here they go leader effect, and then they go Sanji into a second Newgate. So they're gonna go 7 into 2. We're just gonna give that up. They are going to pop our Rosinante with their new Newgate, and then they accidentally misclicked and tapped down for effect on the other Newgate instead of swinging. And then we do draw into a Carrot. So here I'm at 10 Dawn. There's a lot of merit to just going Hody Jones and seeing if I can end the game. So here I do tap down their blocker by playing Hody Jones. And then I'm gonna swing 7. This should get some counter out of their hand. Yep. And then I'm gonna swing 9 and hopefully this connects. Yep. So then here, it's their turn, so we have a lot of counter in our hand, so there's a very low chance that they're going to be able to go for game here. They still could with the right numbers, but seeing how they've been playing all game where they're more worried about just constantly removing our board, my thought is they're going to be going after our board 9 times out of 10. At this point though, we are really just hoping for, as soon as they played that chopper, we're just hoping for a Hody Jones. If we find a Hody Jones, we're gonna win. If we don't find a Hody Jones, then we're gonna lose. So here they're still just thinking their plays out, and they go attach all the Dawn, go 14 into 6. I could counter out of this. I think we would need what? We would need 9k counter. We have 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it would take all but 1 card out of my hand, and then they could just go for game. So here I just let it go. I counter out of that swing. I do take that one. We find the Hody Jones, and then I'm gonna counter out of this one just in case. And then here we're just going to slam the Hody Jones, and this is pretty much game because we're going to go 7 first. Alright, game number 3 is against Red Purple Luffy. So this is another one of those kind of difficult matchups because they're a 6k leader instead of 5, which is fine because if we're going to be utilizing our leader effect a lot, then we kind of will be a 6k leader ourselves. So here, 3 Dawn, we're just going to play out this VV, or play out the Mihawk into the VV, just to get the extra card draw real quick. Here they go 3 into 2. I'm thinking about countering out, but I decide not to. We are kind of bricked up right now. We take that one as well, and we are just getting all of the bricks in our deck just in our hand right now. So we do go 4 into 2. And then here we're just going to play out a Smoker, use its effect, be able to swing for 6, and then we're just gonna bounce the Mihawk back to our hand so that way then we have a 2k. Here they play out the blocker Sanji, and then they swing 7. So I do take that one, we go down, and then we're just going to counter out of this one. So here we did draw into a carrot. I'm thinking, do I want to play carrot or do I want to play another Smoker? So we are going to play out the carrot, we are going to tap down, and then we're going to swing 6 into the card that we froze, and then swing 7 at lead, they give us a 2k, and then we're just going to play out this Rosinante. So part of me wanted to hold on to the Rosinante to play off of a Eustace Kid if I play that next turn. Sadly, they do have the 7-cost Sanji anyway, so here they go the 7-cost Sanji, and then they're going to swing 10 into 7. We're going to use Rosinante to protect it still, and then they go 6 into 5. We do draw into our 6-cost Mihawk, which is huge right now. Yeah, we have a lot of bricks. That's kind of the reason why I gravitated away from this deck list, is we're still running like 4 copies, I think, of the 0-cost event, but there's just so many bricks because there's just so many good cards that have really strong effects that I wanted to run. But here we did play out that Mihawk, and then I'm just thinking how I want to do this. So I swing 6 just to freeze down their Sanji. They do give me a 1k. I swing another 6. I'm not going to use effect. And then I'm going to swing 8. This way they have to counter out, otherwise the top of their life gets banished. Then I play out another Rosinante. So now I have 2 blockers to protect my field. They do play out the 9-drop Luffy, but they are down to 3 cards, so there's not really too much that they can do in this situation. They're just going to have to try to go for game. Here we're just going to tap our blocker and then 2k out. Then they swing 10 into 7, and we're just going to block out with the Rosinante. And this is pretty much game at this point, because they just don't, we have too many cards in hand, and they're just there's nothing that we can do because we can just start snowballing our advantage. Here, we did play out the Mihawk. We're going to discard a Smoker, be able to restand a Dawn. I could play out this Mihawk here after swinging with Smoker once. But first I'm going to go Carrot, tap down the Sanji, see if I can get some counter out of their hand. They take that one. So then now I'm going to swing 8. This is a bit of a misplay. I should have just swung 7 first, but they do counter out of that. And then I'm going to swing 6 with lead, use effect, bounce the 2k, and then restand the Carrot. That's why it was a misplay. And then swing 6 again. So now they're down to 3 cards left in hand. I have 2 blockers, 1 life left. And I have a total of 5k counter in hand. So here they play out the 5-drop Luffy, and then they scoop.